Nie, to jest inny.
Ale tutaj, czyli nie mamy
Like, I
tego,
don't
prawda?
really need it.
Znaczy coś było, ale nie wiem co.
Guys, please take a seat. Guys, please take a seat. We're gonna start.
Please take your seats, guys. Please take your seats. We are starting. Guys, take your seats and be quiet, please.
Chyba tak, to dopiero przyjechałem.
Guys, please be quiet. I have an announcement to make. First of all, did anyone lose some key? That looks like for a locker. Is it for your hostel room? Okay, he left it at the reception downstairs, so you can take it from there. Did anyone lose a Siam bracelet, which will be useful for conclusion stuff?
I don't have.
You don't have one, or you lost one? Okay, you lost one. Okay, you can come later, and it's gonna be. Okay, guys. So before, like, I see more people coming in here and taking their seats. So, like I said in my presentation, our GA time is a German time, so there are no 2-3 minutes flexibilities, and I'm being honest with you and telling you the exact time, counting that you are mature enough to come here 5 minutes early, if that's what you need to do to take your place. But we strictly need to start the GA at the time that I say. Okay? So I count on you to act more responsibly from now on. And now we're gonna start the second GA session of this YAM, and we start with agenda point 19, grants in STEAM. I hereby open this agenda point.
Oh, welcome back, guys. With this presentation, we will hopefully shed some light on the current grant situation in STEAM. So let's dive right into it. We will shortly do an introduction about our grants. Then we will talk about the current situation, about how grants are now in STEAM. And lastly, we'll talk about the current grant that is ongoing. So, what is a grant? A grant is a sum of money given by a government or other organization for a particular purpose. The especially important thing to notice here is that it is for a specific purpose. So usually this money you can't spend on whatever you want. It's to achieve something that that government or that organization wants you to achieve. In STEAM, this basically means that we see all the income that we get from governments as a grant. So the grants committee. The grants committee was established in 2009 to centralize the applications that we have to those governments. And the grants committee was closed last summer. During the handover period from the 28th board to the 29th board. The grants committee achieved in 2009 and in 2011 an operational grant. This means that they got 20, 30, 40,000 euros, basically for 1 year to cover costs for leaders to CMs, to comms, etc., basically to make those events possible. This being said, we had the grants committee from 2009 till 2018, and only 2 grants were accepted. So in the end, the overall success rate was quite low. The current situation. So last year we applied for a 3-year operating grant for a maximum of 50,000 euros. And that grant could be used for comms, CMs, etc., basically to make these events easier to go to for all the leaders, the board, the actors. A great amount of work was put into this grant. So a lot of people spent a lot of time on this to make it perfect and to make it the best as possible. And in the end, we got a score of 62 out of 100. Well, the minimum to receive at least some part of the funds, or a minimum amount of funds, was 68. So why was the grant unsuccessful? There's a lack of overlap between what we as a STEAM are doing and what the EU wants to achieve. The EU sets goals every 7 years, and for this period, the aim of a STEAM was not in line with the aim of the European Union. Some points where we are lacking, basically, or not lacking, but some points where we are differentiating from the EU is that, for example, we only have an IEM focus, and also there is a limit to the membership, to the local groups in certain countries. So, for example, Germany and Turkey have a maximum amount of local groups that we allow, basically. This is not in line with the EU, as they are mostly focusing on bringing everybody together. So the 28th board, the board of course, analyzed the grant opportunities granted through the actual goals of the EU, and basically concluded that there was currently no options for STEAM to achieving such a big operating grant. So basically we decided to close down the grants committee as there's currently no options. So there's little possibilities for them to work on anything structurally. And basically, how we decided it is that if a grant opportunity might arise again, I'm still in the loop with the EU emails and trying to get updates on everything. If such an opportunity arises again, we would immediately open a task group or the committee again to basically handle that opportunity and also make use of that opportunity. Then in 2020, the EU will announce their new goals. So it might be that then we will be more in line again, and then the goals of the EU will slightly differ, which makes those grants a lot more achievable for us. But in the end, we can only guess for that, and that's just waiting till 2020 and seeing how it will develop.
So regarding this, we still have to talk about some developing projects that we have with grants, because I think that the grants committee doesn't exist anymore, doesn't mean that we are not doing grants anymore. Our focus has shifted now to working with other entities together so we can achieve more impact and thus have more possibilities of getting the grant. So right now we are working in a grant for a training platform, which we are working with BEST and ESHE. And basically the idea is that we would apply for a total of 200,000 euros. It's an IT and training-based grant, and the goal would be to develop a portal for training opportunities and training exchange, since that's something that we are doing quite closely with them and also with other entities. And yeah, the application was planned for October 2018, and it was postponed to January. The people are working with our Pascoparia, given that this is an external-based thing that we are leading the project. Oikuyamur and Robin are helping with the technical details, and Robert is doing the finances, and I'm supporting both Robin and Oikuyamur. So this is it. Thank you, and questions?
Does anyone have any? Is it a technical question? 3 fingers is technical?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Okay, just keep your hands up. Okay, we start with the delegate from Santi.
Thank you. Okay, so Lambros, LVII, on behalf of Doxy, LVII, Gothenburg, grants committee leader of
Can you
2000.
hold the microphone closer?
Yeah, better? Yeah, okay. She was grant committee leader in 2016. The question is, why haven't you approached at least the last 2 leaders of grants committee when giving this kind of decision, while they have the most recent and detailed compared to a board responsible over you? And where did you base your decision, basically because it was only included your opinion?
So basically, the 28 boards analyzed the current situation, and we talked with them about their analysis and why they gave us that advice and why they thought that was not impossible. And basically, based on that, based on their advice, based on their expertise on the thing, we decided to close down the grants committee. They said that people were aligned and that several people were asked for the opportunities. So that's basically the situation. So there were more people involved than just us.
Okay.
Okay, so we have delegates from Dortmund over there.
Paul Westergaard, Dortmund. What about that trainers thing that you talked about? Is it more like just a platform, or to create a community among all these different organizations?
The idea is that it goes basically on the line of the community. So the idea would be that we will have this platform where we will have all the trainers of our organizations, and in this platform, every trainer will have a profile, and all the organizations will be able to put the event that they need trainers for, so we could exchange the trainers together. And that will create a common trainer community. Each organization, of course, with its trainers, but it would be far easier to share people.
Washko, do you have a direct comment or question?
Yeah, just to complement what Paula said.
Okay.
I can speak loud.
We need it for last.
Yeah,
passport. The grants also include the organization of 3 training events already with the 3 associations in order to already try out the system. So the money of the grants is also redirected partially toward the organization of the events.
Later. Can we get the microphone here?
Kevin Lowy, Group President. I just wanted to clarify one thing with the operational grant that Estim applied for. The minimum required wasn't 68, it was 60. However, the budget only suffices to cover the application with scores over 68. So
We don't miss information.
Okay, we have 2 questions, one from Becky, one from Ashbrook.
Becky, local group Dortmund. When I was on the board, I was the board responsible of the grants committee. And Irem, who was the leader at the time over the last 2 years, has acquired, I would say, really like an impressive amount of knowledge of grants. I consider myself quite knowledgeable, but she knows far more, and I believe more than any other currently active esteemer. Besides not involving her in evaluating grants in esteem, she offered you twice to give you a hand over to share her knowledge. Why did you not have an interest in that? Especially to Robert.
Well, I was in contact with, we both talked about it because we needed her help both for the operating and the trainers, and I actually contacted her and I had a chat with her over an hour where she filled me on all the details that we actually needed. So that's the answer that I can give you. She offered her help. I said to her that we were very thankful for the service that she had done for her team. I had a chat with her so she could fill me on all the information, and I offered to continue with the project, but obviously she didn't want to continue, and she pointed us to the person that would have been her successor, and I have been on the loop on all of these details. Regarding the thing of not keeping her in the loop, we cannot answer to that. The 28 gave us the handover, and we cannot cross-check everything that we get over. I can say that we were in contact with her, I talked with her, and yeah. I don't know if Robert wants to add anything else.
Okay, Vashko, please, without background, just ask questions. We don't have so much time.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on why our goal is different from the European Union? Yeah, so the main thing is that, yes, of course, we are here with industrial engineering students from all over Europe, and that's quite a good thing, and that's something that the EU supports. What the EU wants mostly is an all-inclusive thing, mixing all the people from everywhere and not limiting that in any way. So how it is currently going in esteem is that we focus only on IEM, and we all believe that that's one of our strengths. And with that, we already close off quite some other potential students, which is something that the EU wants to limit as much as possible. And on top of that, we're also limiting the amount of countries that can access us, because otherwise we would, for example, have mostly Germans in our network, as industrial engineering is quite a pronounced and big studies there. So by putting those limitations there, basically, we're not really compliant with the EU direction.
Okay, unfortunately we ran out of time, so if you have questions, ask them on Pigeonhole if it's important. Can't be asked during the break, or if you have a personal question, just approach these guys during the break. Thank you. So I hereby close the agenda point 19, grants in esteem, and open 20, overall strategy by Yuri.
Okay, so as you all probably know, and we talked about it already, there was a strategy accepted in Karlsruhe. I would like to quickly go over this strategy once more. So I actually wanted to recap the strategical analysis the 28 board made, and also the whole strategy as they proposed it to us. So first of all, I want to start with the strategical analysis they made. For that, we have to first take a bigger look at the environment of esteem. So who are actually around our network operating around us. On one hand, we have the suppliers, who are the esteem alumni, with the companies, the local group, universities, and NGOs. Basically, those are the people who give our value, and they can actually offer us certain knowledge, certain events, and they can organize events, and they can make the ball roll, say. Then we are in the middle. We are that person that is the connector between suppliers and the buyers. And the buyers, that are our local groups on one hand, but also the IEM students of that local group. So let's take a bigger look at why this strategical analysis was made and why actually the strategy had to be set up. So first, take a look at the buyers of the scheme. Because if you're looking at a current approach, or actually how it used to be, is that basically central esteem tried always to contact the students directly, while neglecting that in-between role of the local group. So we were always trying to get to those students, but we never contact the local group. Well, actually, the local group play a vital part. So the link between esteem and the local groups were neglected. And of course, there is esteem must support the development and the growth of those local groups, because only if you have developed local groups, you can connect to the students of that local group. Because we are unable to reach those students if there is no local group. We cannot reach students in any city if there is no local group in that city. And of course, if you want to reach the students, and if you want to have those local groups, you have to also make sustainable local groups. You have to make good and helpful local groups. So you have to have local groups who are engaged, who are motivated, and who are willing to contribute to the network, to esteem, and to the students. Then another thing that we saw within the group of buyers is that we offer a lot of things we offering to the students, such as IM knowledge, career development, leisure activities, network. But is this actually what all the students want? Is it actually what they need? Is it maybe that also want to focus even more on personal development than we're already offering it now? That's something that we don't know, because at this point we have a low perception of the needs of IM students. So the thing is, at this point, we only look at the central esteem from the inside. We only look at the central esteem to see how we can actually reach more students, which is quite weird, because you look at the pool that you're already having to expand your network. That's a weird thing to do. So therefore, yeah, that is the quality. And then the quality and esteem. So the thing that we offer a lot of events at this point. So we offer a lot of events, 150 plus. You saw them all in the presentation of the activity ranking. But it's also that we don't know what is quality all about within esteem events. So as the quality in esteem event has not been defined yet at this point. We don't know what is the exact quality, because there were feedback forms, but they were not always the same one. So you were having a bit of fluctuation in this feedback. Next to that, there were misleading expectations and fluctuations regarding the event's quality. So you see that the one event is a lot better than the other. And there is no standard line here to be drawn, which is of course always a problem, because you want to always have the same amount of quality that you can offer to those people who are traveling. So there were no quality standards actually implemented in any of the events that we are offering at this point. So that was actually another problem that the 28 saw. Quality was not, there was a lack of quality standards. Then looking at the other side, the suppliers. So we have a lot of suppliers. So I named them already: the alumni, the companies, the professors, NGOs, and we basically need those suppliers as well, because they are in the end the people that can give us our knowledge. They are the people that can help us out when we need it, because we don't have that knowledge. We are the facilitator of that knowledge, the central team, but we don't know everything, and we need professors or companies to actually give us that knowledge. So therefore, we need to have those suppliers. And they can help us with a lot of things. They can help us with knowledge. They can help us with financial support. They can help us with opportunities for students, for you, that you can actually get an internship somewhere, for instance. But yeah, so basically what we actually need is that we have to collaborate more with all the parties around us. And only then we can be better in esteem as well. So the problem was here that we had a lack of direct contact and benefit external stakeholders, and also that all the contacts that we had were only very short term and were only based on money, while it could offer us so much more, such as knowledge, such as recognition as well. So these are the core problems that we are having. So summing now all up, so the link between the esteem and the local groups are neglected at this point. The esteem low perception often is by students and their interest is we are not offering the students what they actually wanted, and the lack of quality standards, the incentives for better events and improvements for esteem events concept. And lastly, lack of direct contact and benefit from external stakeholders with all local groups and their students, and the lack of creation of long-term mutually beneficial relations with our partners. So the 28 came up with a strategy, and this is shortly the direction that they wanted to go with that strategy. And in the end, this is what they've come up with. This is the end strategy that the 28 proposed in CM Karlsruhe and what was accepted. I will quickly go over them one by one, but we will still have all individual presentations for all the strategies after this one, so don't worry, you'll get it from there. But basically what we got is the local group support, so that we want to create a local group support system, where we can also offer the local groups what they would like to have, and that we can give them individual advice. The quality as a STEAM event, so that there is a standardized event quality, which will be held with improvement system, so that you basically, and an incentive system, so that you will get incentives if you have a high quality. And we want to reach more mutual beneficial relations, because in the end, like I told you already, we need those mutual beneficial relations. We need long-term sustainable partners that we can actually develop as well. And last of all, within all the 40 departments, we want to work more on what actually the IAM students want. So they wrote down all the missions here as well within each department and what we can offer to the students. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have questions? I can't see any hands. Okay. We'll start with Duarte.
Duarte for Good Report. Yari, you're saying that some slides before, one of the core problems that we are finding is that STEAM is not making the link between like STEAM and the local groups. What were like, what can be like the, it's the first. But yeah, regarding that part of the process, like what kind of subtopics have we identified that we are not making that linkage?
This is a more delicate topic, so to say, but at the end, what you really notice is that we, for instance, try to get a lot of people actually centrally active. So we try to get people from the local group towards central and not focus them within the local groups, not develop them within the local groups. And also what we try to do a lot was, for instance, a lot of promotion was basically directed to only the students and not to the local groups. So, and of course it's also needed because in the end, a local group consists of students. So in the end, you want to reach those students as well, but the way that we did it was directed by them, instead of going by the local, providing them the information so they can give it to their members.
Okay.
Susana, local groups Barcelona. And my question is, how is the relation with alumni nowadays?
At the alumni, yeah, we always have quite a good alumni relations. We always had it, but nowadays we're also working on to improve this actually to work more and towards the communication and collaboration to work together with the alumni network. So it's actually that's now also one of our points that we want to have within this year. We want to work more and collaborate more with the alumni because they can offer us a lot. Indeed, what for instance Guido already said, they had we use the backdoor approach for companies and a lot of other opportunities that the alumni have. So we're working.
Thank you.
Any more questions about the overall strategy, which is quite an important topic? Okay, we have a delegate here first from Sofia.
Yeah, Dimitar from Sofia. So, did these boards still like the idea of that strategy? Are you going to change it or you keep working on it?
So at this point, we keep working on it, basically as was proposed by the 28 board. And if we see that there are things that need to be adapted, so because they set up an end goal that we would like to reach, and if we see that the path that they took, what they suggest is because they can also not look 3 years ahead. So if the path that they took towards that end goal is not going directly there, we can adjust it a little bit.
We have a delegate from Tallinn first.
Hi, this is Dilita from Tallinn. My question is, you said that you are not going to change it, but when will be the next review of the strategy? When will be the next review of the strategy?
We will propose at CM Tampere, we will propose the strategy for the next year again.
So it will be on yearly basis.
So, yeah, yearly basis.
Okay, we have a delegate from Lausanne.
Hello, Louis Algerzan. What is the strategy for smaller groups, observer groups? How do you want to target them?
So that's also what the whole thing is about. That we also don't want to give standardized things to all the local groups. That we also wanted to help personally.
We have David back there.
David from Belgium Unit. Because of support for local groups, Dublin joined last year our network. So what was the support for this local group? Because this year, this hot meeting in the election got kicked out. Maybe can tell us something about it?
We will have another presentation about the current situation for Dublin.
Okay, thank you.
We have more questions. I'll take that as a no.
Here.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Azar from Ankara Belkan. Do you find, regarding the case, do you find STEAM alumni's involvement sufficient?
At this point, I think that we can say that we have quite a strong alumni network and that they're actually already helping us quite a lot if you compare it to a lot of other organizations. But on the other hand, I think that we can still improve a lot because in the end, yeah, they have a lot of knowledge, they have a lot of contacts, they know what it is like to be in STEAM, so they are also easily approachable for us because these are actually externals that we would like to get, only they're one step closer to us because yeah, they know what STEAM is all about. So yeah, we already do a lot together with the alumni, but there's still improvement points there.
Any more questions? By the way, guys, if you can stand up when you have a question, you can avoid me missing you.
Thank you, Michael from ISD. I would have two quick questions. First one is, what is the process while developing an action plan and this strategy? And the second one is, how are you measuring if the strategy was successful?
So the setup was made also at 28, so that it's a yearly plan. So that's yeah, the first year will be more of the setup, and the second year will be more of actually the implementation. Third year will be more about real evaluating. That's the setup that they made, and we defined some key results that we wanted to reach in order to get the objectives of this year at least, and then we will continue that to the next board so they can continue with the implementation of the strategy.
So if there are no more questions, this will be the end of overall strategy of STEAM. Thank you, Yuri. I hereby close agenda point 20, overall strategy, and open agenda point 21, department report. So So now I invite Rita to stage to present Career Development Department.
Hello, great. So I'm here to present the Career Department Development, Career Development Department, sorry, report, and basically focus on telling what is the main aim of the department, its current structure, the first year strategy, so what is the current plan, then update on the future plans. Then afterwards, we're going to have the division's reports and the project reports inside this department, and after all the questions together. So the mission, we want to offer opportunities such as events and competition that prepare students in a specific field by developing a set of skills that will allow them to gain some competitive advantage on their future career life. So our core structure is with career planning division. We have career events at VX next days. Then we have career opportunities division with career center. Then the entrepreneur division with the business booster project. And the consultancy division with time and the online consultancy training. And this last one is the newest division, so it's still on the setup and implementation. So the first year strategy, focus on defining and create new services. So mostly look at the current service that we have and redefine and develop what we have, such as career center and entrepreneurship division activity. Then we want to integrate times in the new consultancy division and also develop the offers of this division, and to also introduce new ideas and new events to our offers, such as career events, PX next days, and the online consultancy platform. And lastly, we want also to support the alumni database, because we also see the value of having the collaboration with alumni when we try to create service regarding career. So some updates. We increased the communication regarding the department by introducing the department chat with all the division leaders. We created the consultancy division, and the aim is to integrate times step by step into this division and into this department. And then we reassess the career planning and career center opportunities. So basically, these two divisions were separated, but from now on, we're going to try to merge both of the divisions, do with the lack of people working on that, and also do with the common project and common goal that they had in common. Future plans is to have new service and to pilot and develop what we have. To have external relations, so also increase the cooperation with NGOs, and to focus also on corporate relations and more collaborations with companies and universities. And also internal work, so increase the communication between all the divisions and realization of a coordination meeting where you can all gather together and discuss things. So I want to thank you to all the divisions leaders that will present soon their work. And now I will present the new consultancy division, a small update of what we've been doing. So the goal is to have the new online consultancy platform that basically where we can gather some consultancy cases from small companies and allow all esteemers to solve it with an online platform. Then we want to integrate times into the division, so increase the communication and collaboration, and add a new service here. So think about other service, other activities that can develop the consultancy skills of esteemers. And then you want to consolidate its image, its entity into the department, so shape its framework and define what we can do. So next step is to have the platform, so to approach local groups for some cases, and also to create a platform and launch it. Then is to create a new service, so look into new opportunities, and to integrate times into the division. Questions after the rest of the presentation?
you, Nika. And do we have a video about career opportunities and career planning division from Angela?
Hello, everybody.
Yes, we do.
My name is Angela, and I'm going to be presenting career opportunities and career planning report. Once again, I'm very sorry that I'm not able to attend the event, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate and add them on my social media channels that you're going to see at the end of this presentation. Let's get started. So, the agenda of this presentation is that I'm going to show you the mission, structure, past activities, and of course, future plans. Mission is to provide enough preparation and opportunities for IM students to start up their careers. That means that we are not only focusing on events, but also the knowledge that we can provide the steamers by our alumni or companies. And afterwards, when they gain all that knowledge, we want to give them a shot and actually find the opportunity for them to start. So what is this knowledge actually about? This knowledge is the knowledge about CVs, motivation letters, interviews, how to behave on a job, and stuff similar to this. And what are these opportunities about? Well, they are more about actual first jobs that we can get after our studies in companies that are interested in a speaker. So our structure can be a bit confusing, especially if you are a newbie, but don't worry. Career planning and career opportunities are actually two divisions. Career planning is more focused on career events and BX for X days, which is allowing a steamer to go to a certain company in a certain country and try a certain job. For example, be HR manager in 5 days. And career opportunities division is one we already mentioned that is focused on knowledge center and opportunities. That is providing a steamer with knowledge via online platforms and then giving them a shot to use that knowledge in a certain company. So let's talk about what we did in the past. During the previous period, we were working on a communication with committees and projects so the processes can be defined and the approach to companies and students can be easier and without complications. Also, we increased promotion through organized PR plans, not only focused on social media. We redefined the approach to local groups, and we updated the knowledge center base, which will be shared with IM students through social media, thanks to the new defined structure. So, while we had a problem with our human resources, we decided to merge the divisions, as you saw in the previous slide. We think this will be the best solution for now, but when we have enough human resources, we can split them again. Since we did most of the things for the first time, this was our way to realize what were the best ways and what are the worst ways to do some of the processes. I believe we learned a lot, and in the future, you can see the improvements. So, finally, our future plans. We want to work with human resources, but also on a better approach to LGs and companies. We already started working on this by contacting the CRC and going to their trainings. Also, not only we are going to trainings, but we also want to provide trainings, such as short videos by our alumni or workers in the company, or somebody who already provided practice in the company and want to share their knowledge. Also, we decided to have at least 2 career events as develop and pilot the BNX for X concept. This is a new thing for all of us, but we believe that it has a really good goal and it can really provide steamers with the real knowledge they are going to need. This would be all. I'm very thankful to all of you for listening. And for additional questions, as I said, please contact me through my social media channels. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so now we go on with agenda point 18, project reports, which was left open, and we will continue with Moscow from Daniel. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, hi, my name is Daniel. I'm from local group Aachen. I'm 21 years old, and I'm active since now almost 1 year in Business Booster. And today I want to present you that report of the last 8 months, what we actually did. So since we have now a video, I would like to do it a bit more interactive. And see you're almost leaving. I think there are some other people who feel the same way. So I want to ask you, who knows actually what business is? Raise your hand. Okay, we have one. Do you want to shout it? What do you think about it? Just give a short answer. What do you think this business is? I'm talking to you. Yes.
Make money.
Make money. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have 3 minutes, and business is actually the creation of value under a commercial basis, and that's actually why I'm here, because I really love the topic, and it starts with our mission. So, Business Booster promotes and stimulates entrepreneurship among passionate students worldwide. We aim to connect entrepreneurs and grow business to create high value for society. I want to show you our project portfolio. So we have actually 2 fields where we're working in. One is the internal project, the other one is the events. You probably know the events, but the internal projects are mostly new for you. For example, the e-learners community. It's a new big thing where you want to use a stakeholder approach, where we put not Esteem in the middle, but have some 10 to 11 stakeholders, and Esteem will benefit in the dynamic of it. Another thing is the webinars. We want to have some feasible solution for high yield where we can make money with it, and also be online and flexible with it. The other one is language learning, but I would like to explain about that one personally later because it's going further. Entrepreneurial game app is actually want to create an app where you learn about business by yourself, by your mobile phone, and an app where you want and whatever you want. And the other one is Strength Code, transforming communication, and that's the thought behind it. We think that mail is not enough. We want to have an additional communication channel, and that's in that case WhatsApp. Okay, so events, some entrepreneurship training, you both know it. Boost events, being started online course, and newly implemented in the next year, 2019, the competition. So, what was actually our strategy? What we want to create, and especially with the e-learners community, is to connect all the services together. It's really a priority of us. So, furthermore, we want to be agile and track the internal development easier. Next thing is we want to support our team structure with a project-based approach. You all know it, you're in a team, you have 12 people, but actually you do something different than the other person does. So we want to have smaller groups, and in that groups you can be more efficient. The next thing is enabling easier communication towards target groups. That's what I said with WhatsApp. And the last thing is to involve actively external NGOs. That's also one thing Yorick already mentioned in the overall strategy for this team. We want to have more external partners, and that's what we follow through. So, update, what happened actually? We want to revive the e-learners community. I just said some words about it. It's a stakeholder approach. You have professors, alumni, startups, companies, like 11 things. I don't need to mention all of them. How much? Thanks. Okay, good. Implement Business Booster WhatsApp service. And I'm going to have a little surprise for you at the end of the presentation. The next thing is collaboration between Business Booster and eStack. We have the ambassador of eStack, it's Sebastian, he's here. And we are cooperating, we used to cooperate in SEP 2018, are really looking forward to 2019, it's the summer entrepreneurship training, and the e-database. Okay, so future plans, the e-learners community, we want to finish the online platform for it. You're going to have an access to it, you will be able to sign in it. We want to launch the webinars and the lean startup online course again. And of course, we want to make it rain. We are Business Booster, and we want to make money, and we want to be successful in it. So I just said there's a little surprise at the end. Here it is. Short motion. Who had heard about the Yeah, you? Okay. Who had heard about the WhatsApp service of Business Booster? Okay, quite many up there. Okay, nice. So what this actually is a service that you get the newsletter of Business Booster every 2 weeks sent. So it's like that, dear boosters, enjoy the first edition, and so on. Last sentence, please. Okay, so this is how you do it. You click on the link I show you in a second. Then you save the Business Booster number, send start, and then enjoy the link. Just type it in, and you see the magic. Thank you. Okay, Daniel, can you stay on stage and begin? Can you come for your presentation? So we see some sleepy faces. We see that you're not so energized. So again, I think you would like to energize people before your presentation. And Daniel, please stay. You have to sing a song together. This is for expanding your time. Again, can choose.
Baby shark.
Okay. So everybody get up.
Technical question. It's a technical. Live stream is down, by the way. Live stream is down. Yeah.
We want to call someone to fix it?
I think they're fixing it right now.
Okay.
Thank you for this, guys. Moving on with Times project report, and please, when I say wrap it up for all the project and committee leaders out here. It's been happening a lot, and if we are out of time, I have to cut you off from now on. Sorry.
Okay, guys, I hope you're energized for the presentation. So this is the Times report for the CM Warsaw. First of all, our agenda. First, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to talk a little general about Times. Now we have our open qualifications, semi-final, online eliminations, final, and the goals for the rest of the mandate. So let me introduce myself. I'm Ekin. I'm from LVII Metro. I study industrial engineering in Metro. I'm 20 years old, and people say I look like Mohammed Salah. Talk about Times in general. Times is the tournament in management and engineering skills. It is an annual case study competition, and it's based on real situations. We aim to provide our competitors with time management, presentation, and managerial skills through the competition. For this year in Times, we had 62 local qualification applications. All of them are accepted. About half of them are already done, and the rest will be done by 31st of December. The main problem we faced this year was the lack of semifinals. Although we looked for semifinals since May and approached about 50 LGs, we were only able to find 3 LGs that organized it.
which forced us to organize the first online elimination ever. And there will be a guideline about it, but basically what's going to happen is you're going to go through the LQs, then you're going to go to the online elimination, and then you're going to go to the semifinal. After the semifinal, there will be 99 teams in the final Porto. And final Porto will be on the last week of March. For the goals of the rest of the mandates, we want to ensure the successful organization of the 2018 and 19 edition. We want to finalize all details of this new structure. There will be a presentation about the new structure in 2 days. I suggest if you have a question about the new structure, you ask it then. And I have a bonus goal for myself. It is to bring a real-life horse to a Times event. This is our mascot. Before I end, I want to thank these lovely people who helped us organize this edition of Times, as well as all the LP organizers, semi-final organizers, and final organizers. Thank you.
Thank you for being on time. So, sometimes, okay, I would like to invite you to the stage once again because we will have question sessions now. So, yeah. Okay, so we will have Rita, Daniel, and Ekin on stage, and also Adrian regarding career development department related questions. So, are there any questions from delegates? Okay, people in the back, please all stand up. Okay, we can start with Dasha, and you can also come.
Hello, Dasha in Moscow. My question to Ekin. Can you explain the situation with semi-finals, please? Because in the portal, essentially the last, it's not enough, it's not 8 for them.
Can I have this minute?
Can you explain the situation with semi-finals? Because it's not enough of them, it's just 4, if I remember right, not 8.
Yeah. The problem with the semifinals is we always had a problem of finding enough semifinals throughout the years. And it's because the organizational liability of the semifinals is quite high with the hotel costs and the capacity of the event. And to fix that, we have introduced a new structure. We are working on it right now. For the next edition, we hope it won't be a problem. So that's since there will be 3 semifinals, there will be 3 winners each, so that the final is also like.
I have a question for Simon. Basically, with local group, local qualification, we have a problem. We didn't receive case material. Well, we received in basically 1 day before we actually had the local qualification. So basically the judges that were there, they didn't have time to actually go and look into this material. So what happened there?
So what we do is, for confidentiality reasons, we send the case 5 days before the LQ. If they ask it later than that, or if the responsible person for that was not actually forgot to send it, in those cases, I strictly recommend you to mail me. As soon as they mail to me, because they couldn't reach their responsible, I immediately send it.
Martin? Did Martin have a question?
Martin, LVII. In what way is the new structure for the Times gonna prevent that you have this problem again? Because at the moment, we're organizing the local qualification, and we're currently busy with promotion. And yeah, usually we can promise the winning team to go to the semi-final on our cost. But at the moment, this is not the case, which makes it a lot more difficult for us to promote.
Martin, is this question about new time structure? Because we have a presentation later on.
But I think you can answer the question really briefly, maybe.
So your question is about how
this will not happen again in the future.
Yeah. What you mean by this is the semifinal?
There's only 3 semifinals
Yeah, okay.
instead of 8.
So with the new semifinal idea in the new structure, it will be more geographical, which means the LGs who organize the semifinals will be able to sell local students' CVs, other stuff like that to the companies, which is way easier, as we observed. And it will be kind of a smaller event, which brings down the capacity to way more reasonable places. Yeah. I will also mention this in the second.
Thank you.
Warsaw, do you have a question?
Yeah, my question is for Daniel. Daniel, what is the main reason of actually bringing back the competition since we already tried out several times and it never worked?
So that point is actually, it lays on the strategy with my successor. We talked about it. And the reason is, you may have heard about the Ethernet community. And you also know that the competition back in the days, the problem was that the target group was not big enough. So at the end, there were not enough people, and you just said, okay, you want the competition. That shouldn't happen again. And what we are planning is to have a bigger target group of the Ethernet community to create that, and in that sense, it makes sense to bring it back.
Okay, follow-up. The entrepreneurs community hasn't even started. Do you really think that you already have a target group big enough inside of the community to organize a competition already next year?
So you need to have the time planning back in your mind when you think about it. Of course, the competition will be after that. It can also be at the end of the year. A concrete timeline is not yet ready made. Also, the Ethernet community is in cooperation together with eStack. Everybody knows of us that there is not such a big workforce for IT in a team. That's why we are looking actively for external partners. In that case, electrical engineers who can help us in the programming part. And so we want to get it as fast as possible. And once there's a big enough target group, we can talk about the competition.
Mario, do you have a question still?
Manuel Chigada, and my question is to the IMS leader. Okay, you say that we will have 3 semifinals, but we will have nine teams in the final. So we will have 3 winners for each semifinal.
Yeah.
Okay. And just one other. When are we going to be? When the local group are going to be scheduled to the potential semifinal? I mean, we built the form, but we didn't have any answer if our proposal is accepted or not.
So the ones that filled the form on time are already allocated, and their mails have been sent. The ones that did it after that, I'm still waiting for all of the answers. I actually received all of them yesterday, and I already have an idea of what it's going to be for the rest of them. But if the LR filled the form on time before 31st of October, then it's already appointed, and we mailed that.
Do you still have a question?
From Uzbekistan, Boğaziçi. My question is to Rita. How do you see the collaboration between your leaders in the career departments?
Okay, so the collaboration before wasn't that established. So my main focus was to increase the communication so they could support each other and start communicating. So there's not concrete collaboration going on. They are still starting communicating. Maybe some joint projects can come up from that communication.
Yeah, just a follow-up on that one. Just to give you some practical example, for example, there's an Excel sheet with all of us as project leader, and we put our development of our little project, of the events, of everything, and so everybody in our group and the whole department can see what actually the other one is doing. And then it's easier to you to approach another from the career development department.
Yeah, question to Daniel again. Sorry, Daniel. Yeah. So what was the reason also to change the mission less than a year that we actually updated?
So there are of course some changes. For me, to be honest, the mission is something written. It's more about how you execute it. It's also about the people, and you probably know every mandate, almost the whole team is changing. So try to set up a mission with all the people who are part of the team, and then boost the team and follow through with the mission. Yeah, that's the reason. It's like from the text itself, it changed, but there's not such a big impact in the actively in the practical part. David, do you still have a question? Okay. Do we have more questions? Okay, we have a delegate here. Can you pass the microphone in, please?
Hi, I'm Louis from Delft. Do you already know the date for the online applications?
The online eliminations will be one month before each semifinal, but the exact date is not set. It can be one day or later before.
We have a delegate here as well.
I'm Alex from the Group Brussels. Don't you think that the online qualification will be really close to the semi-final? Because maybe some local groups are already down the tightest, so they will buy the ticket if the group has been qualified for the semi-final.
We have considered that since the semi-final event now is on 16th of January. So a lot of the semi-final, a lot of local qualifications were not done by 15th of December. So we gave 1 month for buying tickets, which is, I think, a reasonable amount of time, especially if it's a close distance. And it's the same case for a lot of events as well.
So maybe some local group has already done the budget, so there will be a problem for them. Maybe.
Yeah, this is the best info.
David, is this a direct question related to Alex's question?
David Log from Munich, especially because of the online elimination. Let's say in Munich we are going to form a booster kind of, and let's say is it possible to get another date for the online elimination because it will be for us kind of in the 3rd or 4th of February. But during this time, we are writing exams, so we have, let's say, no time and space to do it. Or let's say other local groups will have the same problems then too. So, but are your plans then? They can do it because of lack of time.
So when you choose your preferences for the semifinals, I also wanted you to check the date 1 month before that, and so that it's more convenient for your team.
But every kind of local group is having their exams during this time, so it's a general question also for other local groups.
Yeah, there's 3 semifinals that we can organize there. So whenever I put the online elimination, it will be a problem for some local groups. So yeah, we can only bring it down to 3.
Okay.
Thank you.
Borgi from Warsaw. My question is also for Ekin. As David told you, there are some people, for some people it's hard work to go to Famagusta. So like maybe even if they in the online examination, they will not maybe want to go to Famagusta. So if they cancel their let's say like win, do you consider to take the next team, like let's say like fourth team that won the elimination, or you don't have an idea like that?
We are going to rank all of them in the online elimination. So if someone cannot come, the next one can.
So do we have maybe a question to consultancy? Because Adrian is here.
Adrian, how are you? Hello everybody. Do you have any questions related with the online consultancy platform or my division at all?
Later from Khalid. I have a question about the online consultancy platform. How and when are you going to launch this, and how can we participate?
Yeah, we are in the developing part right now, so we are gonna launch it for the second semester. In January, we will start at the very last contacting local groups, start spreading the word about around looking for small companies, and then once they have found the companies and we have cases from companies, yeah, the students will be able to apply.
Arda, do you have a question?
Arda basically, the consultancy challenge at Agurish went well, in my opinion. If not, are you planning on doing some events under the?
Yeah, we will, as one of our goals, we want to like create a new service, and one of the options is like rescue the concept of BX in X days, so maybe be a consultant in X days. We already have some idea about how the event will go, and we are looking into its feasibility and if we are able to do it. But yeah, it is in account.
Martin?
Arda LG. I don't actually have a question for the board, because especially with the current financial situation of this team, do you have any plans or vision concerning times on, because in our local group we use times as an event where we get income and we use it to just get income. Do you have any plans to use times to get income on the central level as well?
So currently, we also work together with Scarcity and Gizo to also see how can we elaborate a plan that really identify what are the valuable points of times, but also of the rest of the department.
Are there any more questions? Stand up because I can see. Okay, if you have no questions, thank you guys. We are closing this question session about career development department. And now Berke will present intercultural department.
Hello guys, so I'm going to give you the update about the intercultural department. So what is intercultural department? Consisting of 4 services. Our mission is to take within the culturally diverse environment in STEAM in order to foster mutual understanding among STEAMers and improve coexistence and communication in Europe. And this is our strategic objective. I'm not going to say it, it's too long. So this is our structure. We have 2 different divisions, language learning and intercultural discovery. For language learning, we have language program. And for intercultural discovery, we have activity weeks, we have 3D, and group exchanges. So our achievements and the past work. So this year, the strategy is dedicated to internal functionality of this department, because most of the activities and services are we're quite well established, but we still need to work on how they're going to work in the same department. Yeah. So what we did is we mapped the current state of the department. We also improved internet functionality by differentiating within the events within the intercultural discovery division. We created an atmosphere of flexible collaboration where we get the actually first cross collaboration within the department as called as your 4D. And our future plans are we want to create intercultural impact survey and implement this into IEM survey so that we will know how we can offer better stuff. And focus on internet functionality again, because we believe there's still a lot to do. Start of the second year planning. I think this is quite a good time to review it and start already planning it. And finally, again, increase the cross collaboration within the department as we see really big value. Yeah. So I would like to thank my team. There is your 3D leader, Paulina is the activity weeks leader, and Vanya is the language program leader, and Mel is the activity leader. Thank you.
Thank you, Bertie. Now we will have Paulina on stage for activity weeks.
So, hi everyone, I'm Paulina from LG Warsaw. I'm in this team since 1.5 years, something like that. And I've been on quite a few events. And I'm the activity week coordinator. So, what is activity week about? It's mostly about people, about the team spirit between them, about getting to know the culture, the food, the feeling like in the family, in fact. We can like all have fun and experience all different festivals or other, not only parties, but also concerts and so on. So about past events. We had this semester the Aerial Activity Week in Lisbon. Also the Oktoberfest Activity Week in Munich, which happens like every year. And for the first time I had the Survival Activity Week in Minsk, which happened to be like the best event. So about current work and goals. We are looking for LGs to organize activity weeks. We want to activate the LGs who aren't really organizing that much and to know who is like able to organize the activity week. We are contacting with the regional coordinators. About the next goal is implementing different types of activity weeks. You saw already that we have like food activity weeks, also some kind of like from survival activity weeks, like more focused on sports and so on. And also we want to like separate them from Europe 3D because quite a lot of people is confusing the Europe 3D and activity week. We want to create the activity week database, what already was organized, what people were focused on, what were the topics, and for example, the sponsors. And also about this raising new sponsorships from different kind of companies to reduce, for example, the participation fee so more people can attend the activity week.
Can you just show the upcoming events?
The upcoming events are the Advent Activity Week in Zagreb, New Year Activity Week in Berlin, and the Spring Activity Week in Darmstadt. Also in January, we'll have the Activity Week in Istanbul. It's not here because it was accepted just after uploading the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina. Now we will have Marta again on stage for local group exchanges.
Hello again. I'm giving this presentation on behalf of Matt Kochman. He is the exchange coordinator. Unfortunately, he's not here. So exchanges are the main cornerstone of a team that almost every local group organizes, where you gather your local group members and visit another local group for a week and vice versa. So Merit, I think he's 2 years old now, getting older. So Passport, there has been 30 changes and 4 of them were joins. There have been, we worked on more structured registration process, which kind of caused more problems throughout the year. And we started to work on the exchange partner platform, which is basically Tinder for exchange. Future work, we are going to work on the expectation management. We want to make sure that all the exchanges are meeting the expectations, because it's quite diverse. Again, more structured registration process, and also partner platform, because they're not finished yet. Okay, so this part is after 1.5 years is ending his mandate. So after this year, we will hand over it to next person. So if you're interested in this position, please approach me during this year. We can discuss that. No? Thank you.
Thank you, Berke. Now we can go on with the staging project report.
Michael Walking, presenter. Now I'm giving this presentation on behalf of your leader, Berk. Unfortunately, he's also not here. So, your 3D. Your 3D aims to gather students from all around the world to discover the hosting country in 3 distinct dimensions: politics, economy, and culture. Gain the cultural competence. So, past events, we had your 3D in Bremen, Lisbon, Belgrade, and in September, Calabria. Tasks of Berk was adapting the new team structure according to the new department, implementing the procedure for externals and improving the collaboration with NGOs and governmental organizations, updating the resources and raising the events quality. And his achievements were 7 events organized in 2018, department joint activities, and standardized team structure, implemented the new external relations procedure, launching the reporting concept, and finally we get the fruitful results by 2 leadership applications, so we can also approach both of them during the end. And what is planning to, was the current work, and our document for the next leader, improving the standardized structure, external relations, standardizing new procedure, events, higher event quality and content, successful distribution on the map. We wanted to organize all around Europe rather than just in same countries over and over again. And the new event type is your 40, as I mentioned, and is planned 6 Europe 3Ds in 2018. Okay, I'll just move. So, what's upcoming? Your 40 product of collaboration within the culture department, great first one. If you would like to organize it, please approach me and Wanya and hopefully next leader. We want to thank his team and especially 2 applicants for their dedication. And thank you.
Thank you, Berke. We will have Wanya on stage for presenting the language program report.
So Bert Kujel, the current leader of Europe 3D, just recently texted us, and he said that you can ask any questions regarding Europe 3D, and he's gonna reply right away on the pigeon hole. So if you have questions, you can ask them here, and he's gonna reply. That's what.
So they can ask on pigeonhole?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just literally like pigeon, like saying the message. Okay, so. Yeah. Language program is already 6 years old, and throughout those years we had amazing leaders and amazing team members who were developing the concept, and we finally found our place in SE. So
We had 3 chapters before this. Now we are writing the 4th one, which is Innovate to Keep Growing. My name is Vanya Kuzmanovic. I'm from local group No. 4, as you can see, and this is the language program report for the previous 6 months. Our aim is to give STEAMers an opportunity to learn new language or improve the knowledge of that they already have, and basically to use it one day in their IEM career or anywhere else. Knowing that, I applied 6 months ago with 3 objectives, which were implementation of language learning strategy, which is still in the process, but we are doing it while trying to optimize our offering portfolio and connecting our language sessions, language courses, and online language schools into the logical circle of making the language learning process more compatible to your needs, and so we can make it actually quite easier. Regarding the non-global language course, unfortunately, we were not able to fulfill this goal in the previous 6 months. We had 1 application, but it was not according to our quality that we require. So unfortunately, we're still seeking for the local group to organize it, and please feel free to contact me if you're interested. I already mentioned the language courses from our offerings. Finally, we're going to launch our online language school, which is the first German course. It's going to be launched right after the CM. Regarding the language sessions, we had 10 language sessions on our events, and finally, the concept is again like having increased number of interest, but we are trying to write the feedback form for the language sessions because we think that the concept is not so popular anymore. Regarding the conversation clubs and buddies, we want to connect our, or for example, organizers of one language course and participants from it, and make them our conversation club hosts and language buddies. So this is a photo from the Grenoble event. This was the timeline that I presented during my application 6 months ago, but this is what actually happened. So we postponed the launching of German online course from June to November, only because we realized that it's going to be summertime, people are not in the studying mood, and we thought that it's going to be a better, and also we had more time to improve it and make it as good as possible. Regarding the English language course, I forgot to previously mention it. Besides the non-global language course, we are also trying to schedule the business English language course, and we created the approaching the email and form for the language for the local group that we want to that we're targeting actually as one of the best speaking English countries in Europe. As already previously mentioned, we are together working on the Europe 4 event with the Europe 3 leader, and it's the product of our collaboration within the intercultural department, which means that the department is actually working. This is my team, as known as family. I'm also having 2 more members, which are my 2 board responsibles, Palau and Danke. Okay, I'm kidding, it's not Palau. This is my actual board responsible. This is how our communication looks. And I'm wondering for the end, which birthday are you today? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vanya. Now I would like to invite Paulina and Berke again. Okay, it's there. So we can have questions for intercultural departments, which also includes Europe 3D, language program, activity weeks, and local group exchange. Do we have any questions? Okay, we have a delegate.
My name is Ines, and I'm from Minho. And my question was from Ukraine. And I was likely to ask if you are tracking the quality of the language sessions in the events.
Okay, thank you for this question. Actually, I didn't have time to cover everything. Yes, we are actually right now working on the feedback form, mostly for the organizers of the events that are actually making the language session. delivering language sessions, because we realized that, like, while talking to the organizers, that not everyone was using our language sessions template, which we didn't understand why, and now we're together with my language sessions coordinator and with the KMC, we're going to work on the feedback form in order to understand why, because that language sessions template was actually made so we can ensure that the quality is on the same or more or less similar level. I hope I answered your question.
We had a question back there.
Guido Karlsruhe, one question concerning this 4D. How many hours of language course do you want to implement there? Because as I know, it's mostly like 1 hour normally, and how much more hours do you want to put in?
Okay. There are two versions of let's say two draft agendas for the Euro 4D event. One idea was to actually have the same amount of all of the 4 dimensions, like the sessions, like to divide them into four pieces. But then we reevaluated the idea, and then we got a new one, which is to actually have, I'm not sure like what's the exact amount of hours, but to have some hours dedicated to actually show how language has impact on the other 3 dimensions and to functioning of one culture and one nation. So that's actually quite a good question, because we have the working group during the CM about the Euro 4D concept, where we actually want to gather all the info and data, like your opinion of the esteemers, and then we're going to actually decide how is it finally going to look, and that's going to help the local group Brussels that is going to first organize the event.
We have a question.
Molha local group here. I have a question for Berke. Could you please explain how the new strategy for choosing a local group for exchange work, and when do you plan to launch it?
Can you repeat it again?
Could you explain how will that new system for choosing the local group for exchange work, and when do you plan to launch this new system?
So what we want to have is now one of the biggest problems with the exchanges are most of the people who are going to the events doesn't have a portal account at the time, and we just get these mails to register them, and in the end we just wait for the same process, like 3 weeks for unnecessary time. And so we have to set some guidelines first for organizing the local group exchange. We'll get these guidelines, and we're hoping everyone will follow it. And for launching it, I'm assuming before New Year.
Do we have any other questions?
Christina, local group Tallinn. My question goes to Vanya. Currently, you're organizing only courses for the beginners. Do you have any plans to organize courses for advanced users?
We already were organizing the courses, like intermediate course. There was one in Spain, but actually, what we wanted to do is to organize the intermediate level courses on, let's say, the popular global languages such as French, German, etc. But like when we talked with the organizers, for example, from Grenoble, they said that they prefer to organize the basic one because they think that it's going to be more attractive for the participants. And also, I wanted to say something. And we wanted to organize the basic courses for the non-global ones because of the obvious reasons, because everyone speaks it.
I have a question for Vanya about your party. Sula from LVII. About the new structure of STM, do you think that it is beneficial for you to work with you're a pretty leader, you know, with Berke, it's music that with new structure is helpful for you to launch your 4D. What do you think about new structure?
Like when you say new structure, you mean like the departments and
Yeah, departments, yeah, intercultural departments. Do you think it's helpful for you?
Well, it's not like, okay, so if it wasn't for the department, maybe this concept wouldn't even become a thing. Because maybe there would be some ideas, and I think that maybe it wouldn't just actually happen because leaders wouldn't be so close. And thanks to the department and the new structure, I was actually quite close and into contact often with the Europe leader. And we decided that we want to work together on it and that we want to try it. So I think that the structure actually helped me with this idea that I wanted to work on, because now it's actually happening.
Do you have more questions? Can we pass the mic to Lisa?
Lisa from Talent. My question is to the language team again. The online courses, are you going to continue it as like Christina asked for the basic grid, and is it going to continue?
I'm sorry, can you repeat like from the start because I couldn't hear.
Okay, the question is the language courses, the online one, is it going to continue from the basic to the intermediary, or how is it going to work? Is it just the basic?
Okay. It's the online course that I mentioned, the German one that is going to be launched, is the basic one. We've already talked about it. I forgot to mention it now. We already talked about it. It's actually half product of the previous leader and half like product of my current team, because it was mostly done in the previous, so I didn't say it again, but yeah, it's going to be a basic one, and it's going to be different than the one we had from Spanish, because for the Spanish we had the teacher, and now it's going to be the concept like you enter the website and you take the lessons like for how long you want and whenever you want.
Ekin, do you still have a question? There.
Working from Istanbul. My question is to Paulina. Like, okay, Europe really has the concept of giving the culture, but Activity Week is not actually aiming for giving the culture, but rather than coming up with your own concept and implementing to INIS. So do you still, does it make sense for you to Activity Week and the Europe Week be in the same division or not?
Repeat the last sentence.
Do you see it, does it make sense for you to put the Europe Treaty and the Activity Weeks under the same division? Or do you think Activity Week can be a division by itself?
Of course, the Europe 3D is focusing like mostly on culture, like generally the 3 dimensions we have, but also I think Activity Weeks we have the culture, because like we are getting like from the even from the city or from the people, like everything what they are what is about their culture. So I think that it should be under the same division, and yeah, it should stay, because like still we cannot just say that we cannot just separate that no, the Activity Weeks are not focusing on the culture at all.
Do we have one last question? Okay. Thank you. Wait for the microphone for the live stream.
What's up, Roman Kravilkan? I have a question for Vanya, actually. How did you come up with the idea of 4D? And in terms of structure, why didn't you want it separate rather than having the same?
I'm gonna first answer to your second question. I was never thinking of having it as a separate concept. Maybe if it's gonna be really successful, maybe it's gonna grow throughout the years. So who knows? Maybe even becomes like a division itself. But how I came up with an idea, I don't know. It was just like during some of the chats with like my previous team, while I was just a team member in the language program, and also with that, we thought that maybe we could just bring another dimension and make it even more interesting because Euro 3D events are quite popular, and we just thought that like it could be just like even more like better or like even perfect. Well, but if you actually have some knowledge about language as well.
Thank you. This was the time spent spared for questions. Thank you, leaders of Intercultural Development Department, and now we're going to have Personal Development Department presentation by Zach.
Just get my chair here. Okay, Personal Development Department. What's the Personal Development Department? Its mission is supporting the engineering and management students in their personal development. The structure is two divisions. One is conscious leadership with Summer Academy, and the other is soft skills with Brain Trainer. And hopefully volunteering coming soon. So the passport was implementation of the volunteering initiative has started. I'm not finalized yet. Research for investment. We look for the conferences that we can go as a team and actually get some valuable information. Unfortunately, due to the financial situation, we had to drop it off. And then we started of database creation, both for the target groups for soft skills and also the training topics. And our future plans is followed. Inclusion of the trainers community, because we believe if they're doing something related to training, they should be there. Creation of training and topic database. Finalization of the department structure by implementing the volunteering initiative and defining more concrete boundaries between the divisions. And again, start of second year strategy planning. And now I will thank Sonia, she's not here, she's a really lovely girl. Thanks for working with Summer Academy, Maria, working with Brain Trainer, and Yigit for helping us with the volunteering initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Bente. Now we will hear a video presentation from Summer Academy leader, Sonia.
This was the first sentence I said when I first left this stage. If you have a good memory, you probably will remember my big one. Back on council meeting in May 2017, I shared a promise I made to myself when Summer Academy needed change in my life. And that promise was to never let the spirit go and to let more people feel the way I do. Over the last 1 year and 2 months, my big why kept me focused on my goals, and it ended up turning almost all of them into reality. Hello everyone, my name is Sonia, and it's with great pleasure that I will present you all it all was possible in the Summer Academy report. Before going directly to the work we have developed, I would like to share a bit more about the identity known by changing the senior life. So Summer Academy's purpose is to provide personal development to IM students through 1 or 2 weeks of quietness and self-discovery. It usually happens in a remote location under the guidance of inspirational academic leaders. If you are thinking about applying to one of those events, you can expect from it self-awareness, leadership skills, and a unique environment. Of course, it wouldn't make sense to present Summer Academy accomplishments without presenting the main responsibles for it. So it is my team, the ones who made this journey with me and made it all possible. A huge thanks to these guys. 1 year and 2 months ago, I had 3 goals as a main focus. They were increase the service presence, assemble knowledge, and make Summer Academy more accessible for everyone. To increase the service presence, we shared and standardized testimonials. We launched our first edition of Ambassadors program of Summer Academy History. And lastly, we launched our second and third editions of Winter Academy and organized two summer academies, one of them in St. Petersburg and the other one in Zagreb. This all makes a total of 58 lives changed this year. Since the Summer Academy spirit is something really unique, we felt the need of assembling the knowledge from previous years to make sure that we are doing our best and at the same time keeping our quality. In order to that, we standardized the process of knowledge transfer into groups through this Gantt diagram. We collect Summer Academy database from its beginning with more than 400 contacts. Apart from this, we changed our approach with academic leaders, so they started being part of the team, sharing knowledge between themselves, and preparing the new professors with the mentoring program. Last but not least, we found the need of to make Summer Academy more accessible. After 1 year coming up with strategies to reduce our fees, keeping the high quality, we found it possible to lower it 35%, a great accomplishment that made it possible for more students to be able to apply. I couldn't end this presentation without sharing some words about this year. After this role, all I can say is that I have never thought it was possible to feel so grateful for this experience. It's crazy to realize that Summer Academy continues changing my life after 3 years. When I first thought about what this year could be, I imagined how I could contribute to this service, but now I totally feel like if I received way more than what I gave. I'm sure whenever someone asks me in the future how was the best week of my life, I will still mention Summer Academy Mingo. And when the question is the best place to be, I will undoubtedly say being in this stage with you all. Take care of this magnificent organization. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, esteemed and esteemers.
So let's start dreaming. Summer Academy will last through our entire lives for you and me.
Thank you, Sonia, for your presentation if you're watching us. And now we will have Maria on stage for her Brain Trainer report.
So, hello, dear council. My name is Maria Zrugic, and I've been honored to be the leader of project of Brain Trainer project for the following year. So I'm here to present you the report. So first of all, briefly, I will of course explain what Brain Trainer is, what have we done since the last TM, and what are the plans for the project in the future, and of course a little bit of shameless promotion. So as I said, my name is Maria Zrugic. I'm from local group Novi Sad. And the Brain Trainer is an entity within our network that focuses on creating events that are related to soft and business skills, and they are mostly consisting of trainings on a specific soft skill that local group applies with. So about what was done since the last CM, as you had the opportunity to read in the report posted, before the CM we have mostly focused on establishing continuity in our offerings because we had a huge break for not having a single event for 10 months. So that was the reason, and that situation led to a lot of people and actually a lot of newbies not being aware of what is Brain Trainer and what is its place in the network. But actually, after organizing these events, we were able to create a sustainable team. And the situation, I'm really, really happy that we really need to thank local groups for organizing good events because after a lot of them, we had participants from events being motivated to actually join the team and start being active there. So that was a sign for us that they were actually happy with the event. About improving quality, it's actually more about tailoring tailoring trainings better for participants, and that's why we introduced expectations form to get a better sense of what participants how they are perceiving the topic, because everyone has their own and unique perception. So we created a form that puts them in various situations where they have to either describe how would they react in a situation, and those summaries are sent to the trainers so they can get a better overview of the participants. Currently, we are working, as Berke said, on implementing strategy and following up by creating the database. So we are currently analyzing materials sent from the local organizers from previous events to see, actually we had the idea of creating guidelines of what trainers should provide to participants as, let's say, learning material to have after the event. So that's why we are evaluating the currently existing material. So about the plans for the future for the project is evaluating knowledge gathering and creating better sheets, because we felt that sometimes local groups were confused. So we want to avoid that situation. Framing services is mostly about us really feeling the need to organize a comm in the beginning of next year, because we have ideas of dividing brain trainer in different categories based on the intensity level. Also CR, so we really want to do our part in, let's say, selling this team and helping CR do it in the best, CRC do it in the best way possible. And yeah, next year in 2019 is actually 10 years since the project was established. So we would really, we are brainstorming currently what we can do related to the topic. So this was the shameless promotion I mentioned. We have the open calls ending on 30th of November. So if you're interested, approach me during the fair. And of course, these are my lovely brainers and my friend and board responsible Berke. So thank you guys all. A lot of you are actually here on the team.
Thank you, Maria. So now we have time for questions on personal development department, which also includes brain trainer, and it's gonna be connected to answer somehow. Okay, she will answer your questions in Pigeonhole, and in the meantime, Pat can answer more general questions about. Who has a question? John. Right.
Hello, John from Istanbul IT. And my question is to Berke. What is the current situation about the implementation of volunteering initiative? Can you give some insight?
Okay, so what's happening there is we wanted to take some of the good parts of the CERC. We didn't want to open the committee again because we didn't see it was the best good place for the committee to work with them. We believe that they can offer more within this department. And what happened was Sani, the board responsible from last year, took the leadership position, and with he handed over his knowledge to Gigit, and me and Yori also involved in the process. So what we are hoping is first defining what we really want to do with the division and moving out afterwards.
Correct.
Correct, from local group sound like in Krakow. So basically, right now we are quite a big pool of trainers. My question is, are we actually supporting local groups that are organizing brain trainer or any other personal development department events? If not, what is the reason?
What's the reason for what?
Sorry, are we supporting good trainers?
Okay, this, I will leave the brain drain from Maria, but for Summer Academy, what's happening there is we have academy leaders, and they're always in contact with the local group, and they get the full support from the central team as well.
As far as brain trainer is concerned, yes, we had a lot of esteemed trainers, but there was as well the fund for trainers. But a lot of trainers as well are professors from universities or companies in surroundings of local groups. So they're basically in charge of not providing any kind of accommodation for them because they usually deliver sessions during one day, but so far we didn't have any problems or concerns from local group not being able and have problems.
We have delegates from Sofia.
Dimitar from Sofia. I have a question. If a local group cannot afford for you, if a local group cannot afford an esteemed trainer, but they want to organize a brain trainer, is there any support that the team or the board provide?
So currently, thank you for the question. Currently, that's why for the future, we were recently aware that the department's budget is quite a little. So we, as a part of this team, are not able to help in that sense. But of course, there is also Club of 100 who has an event support part which you can apply for if you have any kind of problem or finding a closer trainer who can maybe deliver. And so far.
Any questions? No questions? Okay. So thank you, Berke and Maria. Now we continue with legal officers report from Kevin and Agatha.
Good day, everybody. So, welcome to the legal officers report. For the ones of you wondering, what is a legal officer? Don't worry, it's the first time this is happening, so you might not know about it. Basically, what the legal committee has been doing is now transferred to the position of the legal officer. We will tell you more about it later. We'll start with a short introduction, then go over to the mission of the new position, and then go over to the objectives that we have for this year.
Hello, my name is Agatha. I'm from local group Gdańsk. Here is Kevin. He's from local group Dresden. We are both 22. I'm Polish, and as you can see, Kevin is sexy. Okay, so why are we here? We are here to strengthen the STEAM's regulatory structure while increasing and maintaining the legal knowledge in STEAM. So, for the last few months, we had few Skype chats together with Robert, and we made some objectives and the results to help us achieve our mission. So Kevin will present you the first part.
Yeah, and for the ones of you that were reading or listening, this shouldn't be a surprise. Our first objective is to strengthen the regulatory structure of the STEAM. We want to do so through publishing updates on internal regulations before every CM, Yeah, this time it more or less happened, not really in the forum, but there have been updates presented a little bit internally on central level. We want to propose a change in IRs regarding voting by proxy. That's our next presentation. You will find out all about it then. Assist with the change in IRs regarding the financial structure. That's the presentation tomorrow. Propose a change in IRs regarding the Steam archive. I think that's on Friday. Reassess the internal regulations for XCM. Basically, we went through the IRs. We looked if they are still complying with what we are doing in the Steam, if the language is if there aren't any spelling mistakes and things like that. We want to update the Steam's regulation to be in accordance with the GDPR. Yeah, that was a topic already mentioned today. As it has been said, there is a task group, more or less, of alumni working on the topic, and yeah, that's what's happening. And we want to ensure the quality of contracts signed by Steam. Yeah, just make sure that everything's right on them.
Okay, we also want to increase and maintain the legal knowledge in Steam, as I said before. So we define the position of legal officer. We are informing the local groups about what is it about right now. And yeah, we want to present and update everything at LVII. And we want to find new people who are interested in legal matters and maybe help us with that and in the future become next legal officers.
And last but not least, we want to research about the possibility of introducing online voting for Steam, especially during the council meetings. Yeah, what needs to be done is to do the research on platforms and the ways how we can do it, assessing that, keeping in mind a number of aspects, then choosing the best options, and make sure as there's a smooth transition that everybody understands how it works. We don't have any specifics on that, as we haven't really worked on it yet.
Now we have the special dedication to Robert, our board responsible, who's great at giving us tasks to do. Thank you.
So after this report, I open agenda point 22, proposal for changes in internal regulations about proxy votes.
Hello again. Yeah, we are proposing a change for in the internal regulations. We want to change the following article 3.6 in the way that we will add articles 3.6.1, 3.6.2, and 3.6.3. The reasoning behind it is a motion that was raised and accepted during CM Karlsruhe. The motion reads: the Board of Esteem shall propose a change in internal regulations at Council Meeting Warsaw, which regulates the number of votes by proxying to a member of Esteem to 2. If a local group is not present during the CM, they can give their votes away to another local group. That's calling voting by proxy or proxying. When we have voting sessions, then this local group has more voting sheets and more votes to their name. Reason behind the motion was that a local group with a lot of proxies, a high number of proxies, can influence the vote in some way, and we wanted to not have that situation.
Okay, so the current state is 0.3.6, voting by proxy. In case the member will not be present during the voting session, the vote can be transferred to another member. The proxy therefore will have to be submitted to the chairman, represented by the board, in writing before the council meeting begins. If, in all fairness, this is not possible, the proxy may be submitted until the voting session begins. Before each voting session takes place, therefore, it will be necessary to list the vote. So, we divided these points to 3 points. So the first one is actually the first part of the current state, so I want to read it again a bit. Yeah, it's the same. So, and the reason is just the clarification in the order of the articles. So point 3, point 6, point 2 is the second part. And again, it's clarification and improvement to the correctness of the current regulation. And the most important part is point 3.6.3. The maximum amount of proxies held by a member shall not be higher than 2. And the reason is the motion accepted during the 56 council meeting in Karlsruhe.
So what will happen now is that you will vote upon this change of the regulation. For a change to be accepted, it is a majority of 2/3 is required. And this concludes the proposal. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, guys. So this motion, these proposals will be voted upon during the first voting session, and you will have time with your local group to think about it and mark it on a voting paper, basically. But in order to get the grasp of it, get the full grasp, and be aware of what's happening here, this is time for questions about these proposals now. So if you have questions, please raise them. Do we have any questions about the IR change proposals? We will be voting upon changing our internal regulations. No? Everything is clear. Which one?
Some of them are the they're there for the last.
So last time I'll ask any questions. Okay, so everything is clear apparently. Thank you, guys. And now I guess we will give another shot to magazine report. Oh, and I hereby close agenda point 22. Okay, we will clarify the issue, and in the meantime, we will listen to the magazine report.
Okay, so as you know, yeah, the video is not, the sound is not working, so I will try to be the voice, a little bit improvised, but this is a report for the SD magazine. So as you know, the topic of this year is leadership in the 21st century, and we're going to distribute the magazines during this year. So the leader is, so the leader is Giovanna Disno from local group Novi Sad, and she's not able to be here, but I really want to thank her. Going fast. To thank her for her work during this edition. So the goal was to have a strong collaboration with the STEAM entities, especially PRC and CRC, and to have a strong motivated team, to have online promotion of the existence of the magazine, to have PR strategy for the magazine after the centralization, so after the merge of the pages, that we can still promote that we have a magazine and which articles are there, to improve the distribution process. So we've been researching of options how to do the distribution, but currently we didn't find the perfect option to do it. So we're still distributing magazines to delegates at CM. And goal was also to reach more readers on the local level of STEAM. So local groups can also share what is done in the magazine. So I also want to thank you to everyone that make the magazine happen. And I will take the opportunity to reinforce a bit the idea that you should use a magazine in your local group. So don't just take it home and put it on your store. So share it with your members, share it with your corporate partners, and use it as the voice of STEAM. Thank you.
Okay, so you can, if you have really important questions that needs to be answered now, you can ask them to Rita, and if you have something specifically to Joanna, direct them on Pigeonhole, and she will be directed to answer them as soon as possible. So question here is, do you have any questions for Rita? Regarding magazine project? Okay, so no questions. Thank you for the presentation, Rita. And we had a confusion a few moments ago, but now we clarified it, so I hereby close the previous agenda point 22, proposal for changes in IR, which is specifically on IRs for proxy. And I reopen agenda point 19, grants in STEAM, because there were some questions left unanswered. So we are going to have take questions for grants subject once again.
Before starting, I would like to make a comment from my side, because there was a question, an answer that I made to a question that wasn't completely accurate. And I talked about it with Irem, and it's true that I said some things that were not correct. First, the chat that I had with her was indeed 40 minutes. I checked on Skype and she's right. I remembered it wrongly. That was some months ago, so I'm sorry for that I didn't remember correctly. And the second thing was that the chat was not a full handover on grants. It was a follow-up on for the grant that we were managing. So if that was understood that way, it was not that way. It was a follow-up on the grant that we are doing with the other organizations. And the last thing that the thing that Iran didn't want to continue working with grants in STEAM. That's an assessment that I made personally after talking with her, that I thought that she didn't want to continue. And apparently I talked with her and I was wrong. And I totally welcome her and anyone to continue with this project with grants. And yeah, I'm sorry for being inaccurate in any way. I made a mistake and I'm sorry in that sense.
I guess we had questions from Pigeonhole regarding grants. We don't have any questions. Okay, so if you are curious, you can check them out in Pigeonhole. Do you have any questions here from people in the council? So no second thoughts remaining about grants and STEAM. Okay, so I'm closing agenda point 19, grants and STEAM once again. And now Yorick will have an announcement.
Yeah, so I wanted to raise a bit of awareness on the current situation that we're having and now here in Siam. And that is that there is until now no known applicant for the next council meeting to be organized. And this is quite a serious issue because everyone here knows now the value of a council meeting and knows why we do this. So everybody should at least be aware of why a council meeting should be organized. It's also a perfect way for your local group to actually develop yourself and also to put yourself on the map for the whole of a team, that you actually prove that you can organize a council meeting, because it's a really big event. But if you can actually pull it off, people are really thankful for you and people will actually acknowledge the local group as well. So I want to everyone here in this room to rethink whether your local group can organize a council meeting for the next year, so that we have in the end some applicants that are willing to apply for a council meeting in 2019. Thank you.
Also, comments that applications are on Friday evening in the end. So if you are interested in applying, then please do so before. Also, a few notes from my side. To the applicants. So to the applicants that are applying on Saturday and also Lausanne, and if you're also interested in applying for council meeting, you can come to the stage after this GA, so before the STEAM fair, and we will discuss with you what we're going to do for applicants meeting. And another thing about the pigeonhole, I wanted to comment on the way people use it. So I see two issues. The first one, people don't put the name and the local group.
Can you repeat the first part?
About applicants meeting? Yes, everyone who is applying at this TM for something, please approach the board after this day, before the STM. So about the pigeonhole. First issue, if you ask a question, please put your name and the local group. If you had certain position, also it's nice to put it there. Also, when you are commenting as well, put your name in there. This is the first thing. And the second thing, please, if you are present in the council, ask questions here. We are now gathering this OCM here to ask questions. And I would really appreciate if you don't ask them in a pigeonhole, since I see some people sitting here who are asking questions in the pigeonhole. Thank you.
And one thing to add to that, I told you that I would prioritize people who raise hands here. So if we don't have time for a pigeonhole, we won't have these questions. So if you have a chance to ask your question by raising your hand here, do that. Is there a question about it?
What will happen if there's no application for a council meeting?
Okay, Yorick, would you like to clarify that? Okay, so according to our statutes and IR, we will stay here until we find an applicant. Okay,
Are you sure about that? Like, I always thought that then the board needs to organize it. And then it would be a very minimalistic council meeting. So you would have like, the team would need to pay it, which in our current financial situation
I don't think
would be interesting.
I don't think there's anything about the exact payments. Basically, the Dutch law requires us to have two general assemblies, to split general assemblies a year. So that's also why we have to have a council meeting. But you're correct that this would then, in that emergency case, be some weird council meeting where that's only a day or whatever. So there's a lot of options we could dive into that, but let's not discuss that scenario because, that would not be the best.
Okay, let's not go into that discussion too deeply, so I won't take any more questions. We will figure out. Hopefully if it doesn't happen, but if it happens, yeah. So now I would like to invite Arda to the stage to explain what will happen in the STEAM fair, and I hereby open agenda point 23, miscellaneous, about STEAM fair.
Okay, hi guys. So, I see you a little bit sleepy and you're tired because the day has ended. But I'm going to explain what are we going to do now. Because in council meetings we organize some special thing such as a Steam fair, where you can actually interact with the project committee leaders, ask your personal questions about the internal stuff, and basically all your questions. But this time, I'm just start with who I am. I'm Arda. I'm from Hungarian. I'm locally responsible and I can call myself a free alcohol dealer. That's what you see. And I will explain what is a Steam fair and the Kahoot system we will have. So, what is a Steam fair basically? You can ask your questions directly to the leaders, learn about them more insightfully, and you can join the team as a part of Central Estimate. It is the best place to actually start your Central Estimate career. And the code system. Now, just listen to this carefully because you have to obey the rules we make. Basically, there will be 5 questions in each projects and committees list. Everyone knows code? What's code? Okay, it's basically a quiz system which you can play online, and it's pretty easy. So there will be 5 questions. These questions will be general questions about the project and committee. It's not complicated, and you can easily answer it, at least some of them. And just try to visit all the tables, get the information from the leader, and use this information to make the highest score in all quizzes, to make the total highest score. Okay? But we have a rule. Yeah. So only the lowest score from each game of yours will be used. Okay? So do not play multiple times because it doesn't make sense. If you want, we are free. So. And please be on time. We have 1.5 hours for the Steam fair. Please be respectful for the organizers. That's one from the school. We will go to another building. That's why I'm talking about. And there will be a big surprise for the winner of the Kahoot. I'm seeing your excited faces. So yeah, let's keep that intention alive. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Arda. Are there any announcements from organizers regarding the Steam fair?
Questions, maybe? Do they have questions?
If organizers have announcements and they have more questions, it will be more reasonable.
We are waiting for Paulina. She's responsible for SD
Okay, do you have questions for Arda about the contents of the SD card?
Am I supposed actually to be in this fair as well?
No, Vashko. Yeah, I forgot to tell you, but no. Yeah, thank you.
No questions about the contents of the Steam fair? Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Arda. Are we still waiting for Paulina or someone else? There can be any announcements.
No. After the coffee break, please wait in front of building. We go together to the next building on the SD fair.
Okay, there's a question from Dasha.
First question is, scaffolding of our clothes here or Steam fair will we return here? And the second question, the first about tomorrow, as I know, we will go to another room, so we have to take all clothes with us.
Yes, for the SD fair, you must give your stuff. In Another building is the same program. And tomorrow we have in the main building J, so we must take everything with you.
So to repeat, you should take all your stuff, and we're not coming back here after resting there. Do you have any announcements about dinner and evening activities?
Dinner is in the hostel, like this.
Okay, and evening activities is as planned in the survival guide?
Yes.
Okay, so I hereby close agenda point 23, miscellaneous. And GA is over for today, and we start again at 8:30 tomorrow. We were late today, but thank you for. Before that, we have one more question. You can shout. Yeah.
Leave it here.
Leave it. Leave the voting sheets here. Take your trash, as I mentioned before, take your own trash, and be here at 8:30 tomorrow, 8:30 sharp. Not here, the GA room. GA is in another room tomorrow.
Okay, enjoy the evening. See you. And for all the applicants, we have now the applicant meeting here, so please come here to the front.
For any project, event organizations, yeah, time's final.